The moment Claire brought the doll home, the house changed. It wasn't the creaking floors or the flickering lights. It was something deeper, something unseen. At first, it was just a feeling, a shiver down the spine whenever Lilith's icy blue eyes met hers. But then, things started moving. Emily swore she left the doll on the shelf, yet every morning, it sat closer to her bed. Some nights, she could hear faint whispers, her name curling through the darkness like a breath against her ear. And then came the scratches on the floor, the laughter in the walls. By the time Claire realized the truth, it was too late. Lilith was already inside. The old antique shop sat at the corner of Blackwood Street, shrouded in dust and forgotten memories. It was here that Emily's mother, Claire, found the doll, porcelain-skinned with icy blue eyes that gleamed unnaturally under the dim store lights. The doll's platinum blonde hair flowed in elegant waves down its back, and it wore a shimmering deep purple gown that seemed to shift hues in the light. Claire was captivated. "Perfect for Emily," she murmured, ignoring the way the shopkeeper's expression darkened. As Claire placed the doll in the bag, the elderly owner's voice trembled. "That is not a toy. It's called Lilith. Keep it locked away at night." Claire laughed off the warning and took the doll home. That night she presented Lilith to Emily, who gasped in awe at its beauty. "I love her," Emily exclaimed, hugging the doll tight. But as her mother turned to leave, she could swear Lilith's glassy eyes flickered. Just for a second. That night, as Emily slept, the room grew unnaturally cold. The air felt dense, heavy, as though something unseen was watching. The doll sat on the shelf, unmoving, its frozen smile unchanging. But at precisely 3:13 a.m., the room grew deathly silent. Emily stirred in her sleep. The doll, which had been perched neatly on the shelf, was now sitting on the floor facing her bed. Its hands were positioned differently, as though reaching out. The closet door creaked open. A whisper, soft, almost melodic, brushed against Emily's ear. "Emily?" Her eyes shot open. The doll was now on her bed, resting against her pillow. Its sapphire eyes gleamed in the darkness. With a scream, Emily threw Lilith across the room. Claire rushed in, flipping on the lights. The doll sat innocently by the window, exactly where it had been before bedtime. "Sweetheart, you were dreaming," Claire reassured, tucking her daughter in. But Emily knew better. The next few days were a nightmare. Objects in the house moved inexplicably. Emily's toys were found torn apart, as if by small, clawed hands. The television turned on at night, always showing static and faint whispers. Claire found deep scratches on the wooden floor, leading toward Emily's room. One evening, while folding laundry, Claire heard the bathroom faucet running. But when she walked in, she froze. Lilith was sitting on the bathroom counter, her tiny porcelain hand resting against the mirror. Scrawled in dripping water were the words, "Let me in." Claire grabbed the doll, ready to throw it away. But the moment she touched it, an unbearable chill spread through her veins. A whisper coiled around her mind. "You are mine now." That night, Emily woke up to the sound of laughter. But it wasn't hers. She turned, and Lilith was standing on her nightstand. Not sitting, standing. Its painted lips curled into a grin too wide for its face, its glass eyes pulsating with an eerie glow. Emily screamed as the doll's porcelain fingers twitched, its tiny legs moving on their own. The room temperature dropped below freezing, her breath visible in the air. The doll whispered her name over and over, its voice growing deeper, guttural, inhuman. Claire burst in, flipping on the lights, but Lilith was nowhere to be found. Only a small, icy handprint remained on the bedsheet. Desperate, Claire called a priest. The priest, Father Daniel, arrived the next day. The moment he stepped into the house, he shuddered. "This thing, it's ancient," he murmured. "It's not just haunted, it's cursed." Lilith sat in the center of the living room, as though waiting. Its sapphire eyes flickered, a knowing look in their depths. The priest began to pray. The house shook violently, furniture crashing to the floor. A high-pitched scream erupted from the doll as its body twisted and convulsed, its limbs snapping unnaturally. And then, silence. When the dust settled, the doll lay still. Its once vibrant eyes were now dull. Father Daniel wrapped it in cloth. This must be sealed away, forever. Claire and Emily never spoke of it again. But miles away, in another antique shop, a new doll appeared on the shelf. A porcelain-skinned beauty with platinum blonde hair and a deep purple gown. Waiting. Watching. Smiling. Miles away, in a quiet little antique shop, a new doll appeared on the highest shelf. Porcelain skin, platinum blonde hair, a flowing deep purple gown that shimmered under the dim store lights. Her icy blue eyes gleamed, waiting, watching. And as the shopkeeper turned off the lights for the night, the doll's lips twitched, just a fraction, into the faintest hint of a smile. She had found a new home.
Imagine walking into a village you've visited before, only to find it completely abandoned. No signs of struggle, no tracks in the snow, just empty homes frozen in time. Meals left uneaten, dogs starved to death, and an entire community vanished without a trace. This is no legend. This is the chilling mystery of the vanishing village of Anjikuni Lake, and to this day, no one knows what really happened. In the remote reaches of northern Canada lies Anjikuni Lake, a place of serene beauty and haunting mystery. In the 1930s, this tranquil setting became the backdrop for one of history's most chilling unsolved disappearances. On a frigid November day in 1930, seasoned fur trapper Joe LaBelle sought refuge in an Inuit village he had visited before. Expecting the warmth of familiar faces, he instead found an unsettling silence. The village was eerily deserted. Huts stood empty, personal belongings lay untouched, and meals remained unconsumed, as if the inhabitants had vanished in an instant. Adding to the mystery, LaBelle discovered a disturbed gravesite. The stones surrounding the grave were meticulously arranged, yet the grave was empty, suggesting deliberate exhumation. Nearby, 7 sled dogs were found dead, still tied to their posts. They had succumbed to starvation, indicating that whatever caused the villagers' disappearance left no time for even the most essential tasks. Reports from neighboring communities spoke of unusual blue lights pulsating in the sky around the time of the disappearance. While the northern lights are common in this region, these lights were described as different, unsettling, and unexplained. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police conducted an extensive investigation, but found no signs of struggle, no footprints, and no clues. The case was eventually dismissed as an urban legend, yet the lack of evidence only deepened the enigma. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged. Some suggest alien abduction, others propose a sudden natural disaster, while some believe in supernatural forces at play. Yet none provide a satisfactory explanation for the complete and sudden disappearance of an entire community. Today, Anjikuni Lake remains a place of quiet beauty and haunting mystery. The story of the vanishing village serves as a chilling reminder of how little we sometimes know about the world around us. The disappearance of the Anjikuni Lake villagers remains one of history's most perplexing, unsolved mysteries. A tale that continues to captivate and terrify, reminding us of the fragile line between reality and the unknown. Decades have passed, but the mystery remains. No bodies were ever found, no answers ever uncovered. An entire village simply erased from existence. Was it something natural? A force of nature so sudden and devastating that it left no trace? Or was it something far beyond our understanding? Something lurking in the frozen wilderness, watching, waiting. The story of Anjikuni Lake is whispered among those who dare to venture into the north. Some believe it's nothing more than an eerie legend. But ask the old trappers, the hunters, the ones who felt the presence in the shadows, and they'll tell you, the land remembers, and whatever happened that night could happen again. The question is, would you dare to stay at Anjikuni Lake alone? While the story of the vanishing village of Anjikuni Lake has been widely circulated, it is important to note that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have dismissed it as an urban legend, citing a lack of evidence and records. The tale remains a part of Canadian folklore, often referenced in discussions about unexplained disappearances.